10 Things You Didn't Know About President Rodrigo Duterte. Dubbed as the Punisher and Dirty Harry of Davao, Rodrigo Duterte is said to be among the rare breed of politicians who walk the talk. His ironclad leadership certainly doesn't silence the critics but had been instrumental in turning Davao City into the world's 5th safest city, according to Numio.com. But controversies and media hype aside, does this tough-talking gentleman have the makings of a great president? Watch this list and you be the judge. Number 10. He encouraged drug pushers or users to surrender by giving them cash and livelihood. Although he has long been linked to the infamous DDS, Davao Death Squad, Duterte doesn't believe death is the only option to fight illegal drugs. In 2003, for instance, he encouraged people involved in drugs to surrender in exchange for cash and a little livelihood. The money, which amounted to 2,000 pesos, would serve as pocket money of surrenderers while undergoing a drug rehabilitation program. Duterte also used part of his peace and order fund to give allowance and therefore compel the drug dependents to see the doctor regularly. Number 9. He used to give groceries to police officers so they wouldn't be tempted to ask for bribes. Riding a Harvey big bike, President Duterte would usually drive around Davao City twice a week to ensure things are well taken care of. During these night patrols, he would usually check the precinct houses to make sure the cops were not sleeping and to see who's in the holding cells and why. According to a Time magazine article, Duterte reportedly made a policy of doling out groceries to cops as a way of curbing their temptation to elicit bribes. However, such kindness didn't await those who were caught in the act. When Duterte found a cop drunk while on duty, for example, he personally doles out a thrashing. Number 8. He cares for indigenous and tribal peoples. While the needs of indigenous groups are often neglected in several parts of the country, the same cannot be said for Davao City. As a matter of fact, Duterte was among the first politicians who appointed deputy mayors to represent the Muslim and Lumad people in the city government. He believes that these tribal leaders are in a better position to tackle particular issues and problems of priority and special concern to native tribal and Muslim constituent groups of the city. Duterte's sincere concern for the welfare of indigenous groups can be traced to his mother's advocacy. Fondly called Nene Soling by her friends, Soledad Raua Duterte was involved in several programs which were aimed at improving the lives of Itas, Bagabas, and the Badjao communities. Number 7. Rodrigo Duterte was former President Arroyo's anti-crime consultant. Duterte's iron fist leadership has earned him both critics and admirers. Among those who were pleased by his role in transforming Davao City was no less than former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, who eventually sought his help in 2002. The former Davao City mayor became Arroyo's anti-crime consultant. His primary role would be to lead an anti-terror task force in achieving peace and order in the country. Although Arroyo approved his tough-on-crime approach, Duterte's appointment didn't sit well with the critics. Kenneth Roth, then Human Rights Watch executive director, openly criticized Arroyo for taking security advice from someone who openly advocates murder to bring peace and prosperity. Number 6. Rodrigo Duterte supports LGBT rights. Duterte embraces diversity. In fact, he was the only politician who allowed gay candidates, along with a Muslim and disabled, in his ticket. He believes that the city council is a body of people sitting as representatives of the people. So I felt that everybody must be represented. How can you find peace here if you keep on with your biases? It would not be the first and last time that Duterte would express his support for LGBT rights. In 2009, he criticized the Cumlic for kicking out Ang Laidlad, a gay rights group, from its party list slate. He also helped pass an anti-discrimination ordinance in Davao City which basically prohibits discrimination against the LGBT people and members of the minority groups. In an episode of the late-night talk show hosted by comedian Vice Ganda, Duterte condemned gay bullying because he has always hated oppression. As for his view on same-sex marriage, the president only said, "Everyone deserves to be happy." Number 5. He describes his term in the Congress as boring. After his 3 terms as Davao City Mayor, Duterte ran and won as congressman of the city's 1st district in 1998. He had no choice anyway. The 1987 Constitution mandated that congressmen and other local officials can only be elected to 3 consecutive 3-year terms. Known for his hands-on leadership, Duterte finds the time he spent in the Congress as less than fulfilling. In the same interview with the Philippine Daily Inquirer, he said, "I've been in the Congress and after the flag ceremony I'm off to the canteen, then out. I had not been to the movies for 30 years. When I became a congressman, I'd go to the mall, I was walking, then talking, then home." Number 4. Rodrigo Duterte never dreamed of becoming a mayor. Upon passing the bar exam, Duterte served Davao first as a special counsel to the city government and then as assistant city fiscal. After the 1986 People Power Revolution, however, his career took a new turn. In a 2002 interview with the Philippine Daily Inquirer, Duterte recounted how he went from an officer-in-charge vice mayor to Davao City's longest-serving mayor. "I never thought I'd be a mayor. Never in my wildest dreams. They only took me because my mother was the wife of the governor, so she had stature and she was against Marcos during martial law. So when Cory won, they put my mom's name on it, say maybe she was one of those who really fought the dictatorship, without consulting her. So when my mom saw it because Cory was coming that day in the afternoon, my mother asked why her name was there. 'You are too presumptuous about it, you didn't ask,' she said. So there was the name Duterte. They went to the fiscal's office, they said, 'You will be the vice mayor.' I did. Oh, I see. I said, maybe if you really want to reward me, make me the city fiscal. Promote my chief and then I'd be the chief prosecutor of the city. I won the mayorship in 1988. I stayed there until 1998, then ran for congressman, then back to mayor." Number 3. Rodrigo Duterte as a teenager. Despite him being skinny, the young Duterte was just as tough during his childhood. In a 2002 Time magazine article, Duterte was described as fearless because he refused to back down from fights or whippings from his mother despite being a self-confessed skinny weakling. Not surprisingly, Duterte preferred to hang out with Davao City's toughs and street smarts, an experience that has made it easier for him to connect with the masa. After being expelled twice, he was kicked out of Ateneo de Davao. Duterte finally graduated from high school and went on to earn a law degree from San Beda College in 1972. Number 2. One of Rodrigo Duterte's relatives was a notorious pro-Marcos warlord. Ramon Durano, a relative of the Dutertes, was a former Cebu congressman and mayor who died in 1988. In his autobiography, he described himself as a political realist who, just like a boxer, knows how to defend himself, know his opponent's weak and strong points and slug it out as expected of him. A known Marcos crony, Durano praised the late strongman in the same autobiography, and went as far as describing him as the greatest leader the Philippines ever produced. Number 1. Rodrigo Duterte and his Cebuano roots. The Dutertes are originally from Cebu. For instance, his late father, former Davao Governor Vicente Duterte, was mayor of Danao City in Cebu. His cousin Ronald, on the other hand, served as Cebu City Mayor from 1983 to 1986. Ronald's father, Ramon Duterte, also held the position from 1957 to 1959. Mayor Rodrigo Duterte also considers several political families in Cebu as his relatives, among them the Durano and Almendra clans. It was in the 1950s when his father moved to Davao, leaving behind some of their relatives who have since remained in Cebu. Although he has served Davao City as mayor for many years, Duterte still considers himself a Cebuano. In fact, he owns a small property in Danao City and even considers retiring in the province in the future. Recognizing his Cebuano roots, several politicians from the province expressed their support even before Duterte ran for presidency.